I tried Borderlands 4 early by Luke Stevens. Look at his videos before. Makes pretty good videos. I like him personally. Um, I've heard real fast before we get into this. I've heard people actually like the game. I don't know this video is gonna be critical of the game or what, but from what I heard from others, when they tested the game, they liked it. So let's see what this guy has to say.
Chance to play about 3 hours of Borderlands 4
That's a pretty
at
good
the
time.
2K offices in California, and I have some thoughts. Full transparency, 2K flew me out to their studio to play the game.
Is this his own gameplay? Of the I mean, that is horrible quality. Let's put this up to 1440 maybe. Yeah, it looks better on 1440.
In person on a PC instead of doing like a remote thing, and as a result they're sponsoring this video. But I did clarify with them I'm allowed to say whatever I want to say, positive or negative, and
That's
they
good.
agreed to that, which
That's
is
good.
always reassuring that a developer and publisher is willing to like take that risk for me to say something either positive or negative if I didn't like it.
So he is sponsored by Borderlands in this video, which means he probably likes the game. You really think like what do you think? If he took the sponsorship for the game, he likes the game. Why would he take a sponsorship for a game he doesn't like? Unless to give him a big fat paycheck. Which it could be.
And it shows that they're confident in the product that they have here, and I think that's a really good thing. And it's backed up by my experience with the game, because what I think they have here is something pretty cool. It's shaping
so
up
he agrees
quite
to it too.
nicely, at least based on what I played. And
He also says the game's pretty good. Okay. So that's what I've been hearing. People really like the game. I haven't played it. I have not seen any footage of it besides that video we reacted to a month or two ago with my friend. That's the only time I've looked into the game.
I'm going to tell you about it in this video. Like I said, we got to play about 3 hours of the game at their offices.
The UI looks pretty good. Just looking at the UI here, it looks really simplistic. Not too much going on. Stuff is about the right size. Yeah.
In California, I played off of PC, and I was playing on mouse and keyboard, as you'll see in my gameplay footage. They also specified that the version of the game we were playing was an older build from months prior. So while I was playing in mid-May, they said this was months older than that, and that tons of improvements had already been made, which is cool because the version...
Yeah, that reminds me when Battlefield said that with 2042. It's like, no, don't worry, guys, it's an old build. Well, how old is the build? 2 weeks? That's what it felt like.
The version I played was pretty good. So I was like, oh, it's better than this? Cool, I like that. So I want to clarify that, you know, things are only going to get better and better. And even so, what I played, I thought
it looks pretty smooth
solid,
too,
especially for this point in development. So I want to give them credit for that. It seems like they're making really good progress. The portion of the game I'm allowed to share with you today is called the Fade Fields. I did also get to play a late game vault. However, I can't share footage of that, at least not yet. The grasslands are a section of the open world that they've built out for this game, and it gives you a taste of just what they're doing differently here. The map is expansive, it's big, and they also have added in a bunch of new dynamic elements too, dynamic encounters.
During the beta, during the test thing they had, or the not test. What am I thinking? During the what's it called? The showcase they had. That's what it was. The showcase. The map did look pretty big, and it was all open world. So if you didn't know, or you haven't played Borderlands, so Borderlands is usually split up between zones, and those zones are like you have to like go up to like a portal thing and it takes you to it. I don't know if they're doing that with this game or it's just one open world. I have no idea.
And little things that'll pop up,
or just bigger maps, maybe
others,
way bigger
to
maps.
Keep the open world feeling fresh, so it's not just like one gigantic linear level that's sort of open. They've actually tried to make it feel more alive and, again, dynamic. They've also added a handful of new movement mechanics that complement the old ones. Things like double jump, zip lines, glides, dashing, vehicle traversal, all of it combines into something that really flows nicely.
A lot of those are I mean the gliding, it has some prequel, dude. That's old, and they just now starting to use it in the actual like mainstream game, like main line game. The prequel was I didn't like it personally, but the gliding was pretty good thing. And then I would say put in the newer games.
And that they tie into also environmental challenges, puzzles, and even some of the boss arenas. And I love how some of these you can just stumble onto while you're exploring. This one that I did against Sydney Pointy Legs, a sort of mini boss in an arena guarded by a bunch of other enemies. This was not a boss fight I intended to kickstart. I was just exploring the open world and then found this like mini boss fight with a
So
ton of crazy
they have bosses laying around. They didn't have that in the old game. They had the special enemies, of course. Like in Borderlands 3, if you complete the quest line at the anvil, you could uh you could get a Amalek's quest to go back in there and kill the anointed, and you get the infinity pistol. That's just an elite enemy. That's not a boss or anything.
loot and unique elements to it. And it was just something that happened. And I personally love that because I'm a player that's motivated often by challenges or, again, just cool discoveries. It's why I love games like Elden Ring, is finding a boss hidden in some corner of the
Dude,
map you thought that.
I don't. I'm about to. This is off topic. I'm about to geek out a little bit on Elden Ring. Dude, I played so much of Elden Ring. Oh my god, I played so much of it. Elden Ring is probably one of my favorite games. It probably is my favorite game. That game, I don't think any game even lights a candle to Elden Ring.
There was probably nothing in, but then you find a cool, unique boss fight. I love that kind of thing, and it's very much present here in Borderlands 4, which I really enjoyed. I mean, just rounding a corner thinking you were just going to find like a cliff and then finding something like this was really cool. And of course, because it's a Borderlands game, there's tons of weapon variety, and they fine-tuned all sorts of different aspects of the weapon system. So
I know. Oh, here we got a menu here, huh?
now each individual part of the gun is broken down into different manufactured
Oh, I was about to mention that. Never mind. I was about to talk about that. He just talked about it.
components, and when the gun spawns, those components can complement each other or fight against each other, but you can build out synergies within the player character.
They say fight against each other, so like, oh, I guess that'd be like, oh, what kind of examples do we have here so I can make one? Repkit has 2 charges, so it could be like Repkit has 2 charges, and another one could be Repkit has 3 charges, so you only get 1 plus. I'm guessing that's what he means by that.
Those components can complement each other or fight against each other, but you can build out synergies within the player character skill trees to make sure that you specifically are benefiting from certain manufacturer components or for
That's a
certain
lot.
playstyles within certain weapons.
They really expanded this out, huh? They took away that like that rectangle they had of all the skills in like the different sections. They really expanded on this, huh?
And archetypes. That's a really complicated way of saying that there's a bunch of weapons that have all sorts of crazy unique aspects and components to them, and you can build out your playstyle however you want. And you can get some crazy complex and nuanced builds.
I wish they would pick crafting in the game. So you like kind of like PoE2 crafting, but not as grindy or annoying as PoE2 crafting is. But like a way to like you say you have like a gray gun. So a common gun has 1 buff on it. Let's say you can do a second buff on it. So turns to uncommon, or a third buff which turns to rare, whatever. I wish they would do something like that.
On how you like to engage in certain
But you can't go
encounters
up
and
to
based on the playable
legendary, just
character that
up
you
to epic.
choose to go through the game with. We had access to Rafa and Vex, and I did try both of them. My footage with Vex is actually from the Vault mission, which again, I can't show you. And she was probably my favorite, but they both played very, very differently. And I could see experimenting with each of them a good bit.
I mean, that's how Borderlands, all the Borderlands games really are. Like, Borderlands 3, you can play as the I don't remember any of the characters' names besides Zane, but Zane had the 2 abilities he could use, which plays completely different from the robot character that like the mech character. Completely different. That's how it's always been. The characters are very, very fine tuned to be all different.
Finding which one you like the most. One thing I will say I didn't really get a good handle on was the writing. Of course, we were playing pretty specific sections of the game, and we didn't really get a big deep dive into the writing or the narrative or the characters and how they interact. Most of our time with the game was about playing the game, not listening to like cutscenes or dialogue. So I can't really speak too much to how the tone of the writing is, or whether it's super campy or super cliche, or if it's more grounded. I'm not totally sure.
I'm gonna take an assumption and say it's more like Destiny 2.
What I do know for sure, though, is that we had developers on the project that were in the room with us. Specifically, we were in the room with Anthony Nicholson and Graham Timmons, who, as you can see, are the senior producer and the creative director on the game. Of course, you'll recognize them from this PlayStation State of Play that they did at the end of April, showcasing this game initially.
That's
And
when we
they
saw
said
it.
something very interesting, which again, I haven't really had a chance to confirm myself, but they said they specifically wanted to make sure the
Excuse me.
tone of the game and the writing was grounded within the world itself. They didn't want the dialogue or the jokes to feel like they were just memes from out of nowhere that had nothing to do with what.
Thank God. And so my only issue with Borderlands 3 was the writing was so horrible. I mean, the gunplay was like so good. Like it's actually like probably my favorite one of all the gunplay. But the writing sucked so much. Like the jokes, especially I know this one's been brought up a lot and probably showcased a lot. When they were on a space mission, when you want that big like city planet. I forget what the planets are called. Prometheus, I think. I think that's the name. And you're doing this the at the Gawa boss. I think that's the guy's name. Um, when he was blowing up the planets in the background, dude, that was so bad writing. It was so bad. It was so annoying to listen to this guy blow up ice cream stands and the other guy complaining. It was horrible writing.
Was going on. They wanted it to feel like all the characters actually lived in this world and existed there. They said they didn't want dialogue to feel out of place. They didn't want like an offhand comment to feel like, oh, that was just their attempt at a Hawk Tuah joke. Like they didn't want that. They wanted it to feel.
How much you bet there's at least one of those jokes in this? One Hawk Tuah joke is probably in here somewhere, and it's probably not in the main quest. It's maybe a side quest, but I, I, I want to bet that there's at least one of them in there.
Native to the world. And that is what I would hope to hear. Like, that's a good thing to hear for me. But whether or not that ends up being the case, time will tell. Again, I just didn't have the chance to really sink my teeth into it, but they're saying the right things, at least in my opinion. I prefer it to be more grounded in the universe as opposed to just chasing cheap laughs. But speaking of cheap, it really seems this game is not that. They have put a lot of effort into little bitty quality of life features too. They have things like full crossplay for up to 4-player co-op if you choose.
I think they added this into the other games as well. I do not hold that against me, but I think I remember seeing something about that on Borderlands 3 recently. I don't know for sure on that one. Don't hold that one against me.
Even little bitty features like the ability to customize the difficulty per player during co-op are present.
Why?
Which means that if you were playing this game in a big co-op party and maybe one player on the team is struggling with co-op or struggling with the challenge of a boss fight or something, they can customize their difficulty independent of yours. All of the loot generated is also independent, which means everybody is welcome regardless of skill.
No, and I mean, in the 3 they had cooperative and competitive. So if you basically, I can't remember the exact name. There's cooperative and something else with a really similar name style. But so if you pick cooperative, you get independent loot most of the time or all the time, I believe. I didn't really play with people on it, so I don't hold that against me either. And the other one, it's a fair game. All the loot you get it's yours. That's basically how that went.
Level, everybody can have the experience they want to have. And something that made me smile was, of course, the mention that they are also bringing back 2-player split screen co-op, which is a staple of Borderlands. I played Borderlands mostly in college with my roommates.
You know what? That's the same thing I did too. Me and my friend. If he ever sees this video, this is gonna be turned into a video. If he ever sees this, he will know because we literally did that together on the PS4. We played through Borderlands 2. We played so much Borderlands 2 on split screen. And we had 2 PS4s, so we have 4 friends, and we were both split screen on each other. All 4 of us, all playing together. It was so much fun. Best experience.
Vibe and chill in the basement of the little house we had rented for college, and we would just play Borderlands for hours and hours when we probably should have been studying.
Yeah,
And it
probably. We
was
probably should
great.
have been
And I
too.
look back on it very nostalgically and I love it. And hearing that maybe we could do co-op split screen again is just really cool to me. And it's something a lot of other companies and games have dropped and abandoned.
PoE 2 brought it back as well, by the way. PoE 1 is not even split screen. PoE 2, you can play two people on a console.
But they're doing it for Borderlands 4, and I think that that's awesome. And I want to give them praise for that because I think we need more of these games that have couch co-op. I love couch co-op. It's
Halo
fantastic.
took that away.
That's awesome to hear. And of course, there's other quality of life improvements such as overhauled loot, the drop rates being adjusted, trying to make sure that legendary weapons feel special and unique. All of the things, again, that I think you would hope to hear in a game like this. As for the moment-to-moment gameplay,
I do like that. I want to go
the
back here a sec. I do like how this UI looks like when he's picking up stuff here.
that I think you would hope to hear.
It's more vibrant and telling you what's on the weapon. So it says accuracy's lower, reload speed's lower, rate of fire is lower, ammo's lower, but damage is higher. That's nice. You can see it right there, like, okay, do I want this? No. Because all this is lower, maybe the damage is a little bit better, but it's not fully better
in a game like this. As for the moment-to-moment gameplay, I will say that most of the missions that I played, which again were not many given this was a more narrow
and it's
selection
grappling
of gameplay,
gameplay.
most
They took
of the
some
encounters
inspiration from
were
Halo.
fairly straightforward, fighting through waves of enemies, working my way through a large base or into a larger boss arena, only to fight one massive boss that had his own set of waves of enemies. Again, all pretty standard Borderlands stuff. It won't come as a surprise to you if you know these games that it works this way. And that's why it's a good thing that the gunplay is really tight. I mean, Borderlands is kind of made or broken on its gunplay and the variety of its weapons, and based on what I experienced, they did a pretty good job here. There were the standard moments where I might feel like a weapon wasn't as good as a different type of weapon, or maybe this one needs a balance.
That's always gonna be there. That's always the case. Even in like games like Battlefield, it's always the case. It's always gonna be that one weapon. It's like, oh, this weapon sucks compared to this weapon.
Adjustment against another, but that's
But
stuff that
in this game is magnified by a lot because you also gotta remember there's different buffs on these weapons. Each weapon is randomized with different attributes on it.
Sure, they are fine-tuning as we speak, and so it's not really fair for me to complain about an early version.
This build's old too, by the way. So he's talking about like a build that's like several months old, he said.
Of the game, maybe having a shotgun that's too OP or too underpowered. The one thing, if I have to give one note, is that sniper rifles do not feel powerful enough. That's the one thing. Like sniper, marksman rifles, they didn't feel powerful enough to justify like the really slow speed, the ADS speed. Like it just didn't feel right. It felt like they needed to be more powerful. I told them this at the studio as well, and they seem to already be aware of it. So I'm just preaching to a brick wall, I guess, at this point. But
I mean, they should have given him a more recent build, really, especially if he's testing stuff. I mean, I don't know if this is testing purposes or sponsorship purposes, but if it's testing purposes, they should have given him a really recent build, like a recent stable build.
No, nonetheless, I'll say it. But far and away, my favorite part of what I played were the boss fights. The vault that we got to do, which was a later game section, which again, I can't
You are doing this so inefficiently. Why are you using corrosive when he has a shield? Why are you not using electric?
But trust me, was really cool. And the various boss fights that I engaged with in the open world, one of which I accidentally found, and another was part of the main story that you
should be using corrosive on this guy here.
To go through. And of course, you can go back through these even after you've completed them to continue grinding out.
The best things to do with this. You can go back and back and back. You can fight the same boss over and over. That's one of the best things to do with this game.
Higher level drops on certain weapons if you want them. You can pursue it however you see fit. If you want to just tackle the same boss 15 times, you can do that. Or if you want to just kind of go meander through the open world, you can do that too. What amazed me though was just how open-ended everything was laid out. Like typically in Borderlands, at least the way I've traditionally played them, is it's pretty straightforward. Like you just kind of go from place to place, you follow these objectives. There might be some side activities you do here and there, but in general, you're going through the motions more broadly. But with this game, I often had moments where I just kind of paused and I went, okay, where do I want to go next?
That's what I'm doing when I'm Dune. Like Dune is like, okay, find the next trial. I'm like, okay. Oh wait, I want to go do this first. Oh, I got some contracts I wanna go finish first. That's me and Dune. Borderlands has always been, like, a really straightforward game. So you always go through, but it didn't really have too much replayability, because once you complete the campaign, what else do you do? I mean, Borderlands 2 at least, they had uh, the after the end game stuff you could do, but other than that, what else is there to do in the game? That's my only problem with this. There's not like no maps like in, PoE. Like, there's no end game, like, fully built out end game to do.
You know what? I'm gonna go look over there. And that little moment of freedom was really, like, frankly, refreshing. It was really cool, especially to go and then find something there like a cool, unique boss fight that other people in my play group didn't get to see. And that was one of the cooler things, was after we finished playing, being able to compare. Oh, did you do that side quest? Oh, did you find this boss? Did you see that thing over there? What dropped for you when you beat that boss? You know, that's one of the things that I think makes Borderlands special and that people really connect with. And I was really pleased that it's all present here. It's really tight, and I had fun. I don't know what else to say. I had fun. Now, of course,
Oh, that's good.
because I
I mean, I've only heard good things about the game so far. I've not heard anything bad about it, really. Like, really bad about it anyways. Like, there's always gonna be those issues here and there, but I've not heard anything, like, detrimental. Also, they backed down from the $80. They actually set the price at 70.
only got a little sliver of the game. It's too early to say anything specific about, like, the writing or the balance of co-op encounters or how the game functions when you're 10 hours deep and you've got a bunch of extra loot, how the in-game economy works, whether drop rates are balanced or not over the long term, and how the end game works. We don't know any of that, and we won't until launch. But the point of a preview is to give players a taste of what they have here, and hopefully to entice them into buying the
Also,
game when it launches.
the
And
world looks really good too. It does not look bad at
I
all.
think they did a pretty good job of that here. While I would have liked to have played more of the game without any sort of training wheels or guardrails or anything, I had a good time. And that is not something I can say about every game I do previews for. So I really enjoyed this. I'm excited to see what the game holds when it launches. Everything from the gunplay to the movement to the boss design, the open world layout, it all seems pretty solid. And I had a
Yeah,
good
stop
time. And
burping.
I'm
Jesus.
excited to see how they fine tune this closer to launch, because all sorts of things like AI behaviors within enemies, the balancing of certain weapons over others, all of that's going to be overhauled.
I don't know if I'm gonna buy this game on launch. I might, but maybe I won't. I'll see how I feel when it comes out or when we get closer to it. I mean, the game looks fine. Personally, I think so. Anyways, game looks like it'll be fun, but I don't know if I'll buy it on launch. Maybe, maybe if I'm like really bored and I'm like, man, I need a new game to play, then maybe I'll do it. But other than that, I don't think I'm pre-ordering or anything like that.
And improved as we get closer to launch. But based on what I played, I think they're already in a pretty good spot. But let me know what you think of Borderlands 4 in the comment section below. Does it look good to you? Are you
All right,
going
well,
to
the
check it
video is pretty
out?
much done here. All right, so yeah, really good video. Um, I'm glad they backed up from the $80, went to 70 as well. Like, people were so mad, especially when that guy said, "You'll make it happen," like I did in the 90s or 80s when I wanted a certain game. That did not sit well with people. I didn't like that either. I was like, dude, you gotta be kidding. You have got to be joking. You did not just say that to a crowd of gamers in this market at the moment that's killing people. Like, absolutely, it's killing people because how much expensive things are.